Have you got any problems? No problems?
Not anymore.
Now, come on, you can just let it all hang out with us. We won't go out of this room. My name is Fiona Smart, but please, won't you call me Fee? How are you? Having a good time? How outrageous. Have we got any filmmakers here tonight? Yeah, what up? Home movie buff. Hi, I'm Mandy Salomon, but as you've just seen, I'm also Fiona Smart. Fiona is very, very trendy. She's into designer clothes and everything's outrageous. And sometimes I'm also Mandy Salomon, who talks like this, and she's really into all the pop music and stuff, and she's really, she just wet her pants overboard, George. And sometimes I'm also a teacher by the name of Joan Rogers. All right, young lady, wipe that smirk off your face. Now, you've been breaking rules. I say this year in, year out until I am blue in the face, literally. What I like to do is write and perform to adults and hopefully make them laugh. But today, what we're going to try and do is work up some material with 10-year-old kids, and they're going to be writing and performing, and I'm going to be writing and performing, and we're going to do a big show together called the 1985 Disco Funk Punk Get Down and Boogie Show, and we're going to plan it right here and now. Okay, so if we were to look at the rock stuff that you see on TV, what do you think we could make jokes about that are on television? John?
You can change their names, like Bruce Springsteen.
To what?
Loose windscreen.
Loose windscreen.
Yeah. And you do Brucey Baby, and he comes out and he's in the cot and he's got a nappy on. And he's singing Born in the USA.
That's good. That's mad thing.
Instead of countdowns, count up, and you're having, or interviewers and that, like you have somebody interviewing them.
And count up. Yeah, that'd be funny.
And Mr. T in Count Up would be Mr. T, and he, you know how he's real fat and got lots of jewellery, and he's supposed to be tough. He could come in and he wouldn't have much jewellery and he'd be real skinny and he'd be weak.
Totally change his whole personality, make him opposite. Yeah? Riley, you were saying something about solid gold.
Yeah, they could be real posers and they're really hopeless, but they think they're good and they all dance in front of the singer and that, and they push him off the stage. Yeah.
What do you reckon, Sarah?
Instead of having Paul Hogan, we could have Paul Slogan, and every time he talks like he says a slogan.
Oh, that'd be great. That's a great idea. Write that one
We could
down.
have, instead of blankety blanks, we'd have splashity splash, and if they say anything wrong, they get all water put over it.
What do you think makes things funny? What do you like about these shows? Yeah?
It's not always the way they dress, it's the way they talk and the way they act most of the time.
What about you, Sue?
And when they do the funny parts, like they're not acting funny, they're sort of doing it really serious.
So being serious can be funny at the same time, can't it?
Yeah.
It's interesting how that happens. We've talked a lot about comedy, people we find funny on television and in real life. But do you have any questions you'd like to ask me about my work? Sarah?
Where do you get your ideas from?
I get my ideas from the places that we've talked about. Television, people I read about in the newspaper, from all over the place.
Lost inside my limousine, 15 miles from nowhere. Sunshine and fine, vines running in the rain. Broken wheel, big deal. Baby, I just don't care. Never know what to do, even so I can ride the pain.
This is where the detective work comes in. Nobody knows that I'm actually looking at them. They all think that I'm just another cafe person. But no, in fact, I'm accumulating information. The other day I was in a cafe down the road and I got a whole sketch about two Australian Sloane girls, as I call them, Sloane being a sort of upper middle class girls who went to private schools, about their trip overseas, and it was fantastic material. I got a whole sketch just by sitting at a table nearby them and eavesdropping.
Has anybody anybody here read that book by Marilyn French, A Woman's Room? Now, that was the book that changed my ideas about interior design.
There again, I thought, well, I'm going to do something this time because it's just everybody, in that particular area is getting it. All the people they know and who they know, and I'm just quite honestly, I'm just astounded. And 5 or 6 people, 5 or 6 names they use, they get these, and they're laughing, they openly admit it. And I honestly said, well, I don't want to have anything to do with it.
This radio is really important for my work. It's my lifeline to the outside world. You just have to tune into any of the talkback stations and you get to hear all kinds of people that you otherwise wouldn't have any contact with. Their gardening problems, what's wrong with their pets, their own personal anxieties, the hassles they're having with their kids. And you don't just get to hear what they think about the world, but you get to hear about how they speak, the kinds of language that they use, and that's really important when you're developing a character. And as you can see, I listen to it just like that, take it almost straight off the radio and put it into my scripts, and sometimes it's really funny. You can do that with magazines as well. I've got heaps of them here that I read all the time. Clio, Business Review Weekly, and of course Countdown. There's comedy everywhere, especially, for example, out here. There's a lot of comedy material to be found on the television, and not just in the comedy shows, but also on news programs, soap operas, and of course the panel shows.
Work up enough stage experience. I thought I'd better start at the bottom, so I'm going to do an audition for Johnny Young's Young Talent Time. I've got it all worked out. Because I can't sing right, I thought I'd do a rap.
I never throw anything away. This is just a bit of scribble of an idea. If I file it away, you never know. 3 weeks later, I might look at it again and find that it's something that I can use. This is a particular character folder here, and I've got a second draft of something, some first drafts, which again I keep, even though I think I've refined it to a point which is better, but you never know. When you look back, it might just have something in it that you haven't used that you think on retrospect is really funny. This is news clippings, which is to do with the character. I've underlined bits and pieces about the kind of language the character might use. For example, young girls call boys losers, dreggy, these sorts of terms that come in handy when you want to know about a character and how that character thinks. So I always keep every little thing. This is part of my notes on Fiona. And this is a script that I've written about her day, and I had written about 7 things of her day, starting off at 4 a.m. in the morning and finishing at 7:30 at night. And the first time I performed it, I'd finished the script, written it all up. And then while I was on stage, I thought, no, this is just too long. So the next time that I performed it, I cut it down to just 2 or 3 examples of what happened in her day. And that was enough for the audience to understand what her day was like without going through every little detail. And often I think that's something to remember in comedy. You're not up there for 3 hours with a long play, or it's not a feature film, it's just a short, sharp comment about something. And you have to be very, very careful not to put too much detail in, just enough to have them wanting more.
I pull on the French velour design leisure suit and I drive the Volvo over to Centennial Park and I do a brisk jog around it with Pankhurst, the bull terrier. By 6 a.m. it's breakfast time, something really delicious, no toast, and a handful of vitamin pills, I'm out the door. Oh God, I'm ravenous just thinking about it.
My character's Electro. Electro's a rap dancer. He wears spiky wristbands and he owns a ghetto blaster. He wears colourful and strange clothes. He wears a kamikaze headbands and he wears earrings.
My character's Debbie Nuisance, and she's really dumb. She's really, really fidgety, and she always falls over.
Jack Michaels is in my character, and he lives in a townhouse in America. He's got fuzzy hair and he's got blue eyes, wears a glove of the colour pink.
No, I don't know. I didn't read for me. I saw ism social rather than social.
Excuse me, you guys. I just wondered what you thought of this idea, because I'm trying to write this thing. What if I have a girl who goes to a rock concert, like the Boy George concert, right? And she gets there really, really early. You know how these young fans do. They get there about,
2 days before he arrives.
Camp out, as it were.
Camp out, yeah. And I have her eating so much. She gets bored, so she eats and eats. By the time he finally arrives, she has to rush to the toilet and vomit. What do you reckon?
Is that before or after she's seen it?
Leave the jokes to me. No, what do you think about, good idea?
Yeah, it all depends on what she's eaten.
What she's eaten?
I mean, if she's been eating health food for 2 days, she'll probably be all right. But what would she eat?
Oh, good question. I have to think about that. It's great to have the boys to sort of talk about my work too. They tell me if they think something's funny or not. And it really is a great help to have a sounding board. When it's time to actually sit down and write, I like to get all this junk out of the way, conveniently sticking it on another table to think about at some later date. I just find having a clean desk makes me think better. Strange, I know, but fresh sheet of paper is always really good. It makes you clear your mind. And a pen. And now I've just got to sit down and actually get my ideas that have been churning around in my brain on paper, because I've got this deadline that I'm working towards. Firstly, I've decided that I'm going to be working with Mandy Salomon, who's the character that I have worked with before. And the things she's going to think about are her favourite superhero, Boy George, the kind of clothes she's going to wear, fluorescent bobby socks, rap dancing gloves. She's going to talk about going to the rock concert, who she goes with, what she does in order to get there, her parents, problems she might have with them, her mannerisms, what kind of speech patterns does she use, what kind of language does she use. So that's my topics. Now, down to work. Wendy starts off at the rock concert. She wants to know, she wants to tell people I went to the Boy George concert. And it was, how was it? Fantastic. No, grouse. Or would she say, she'd probably say it was unreal. So I went to the Boy George concert and it was unreal. She got there, I got there early. How early? About 48 hours early. And she waited in the line. She probably had something to eat. What did she have to eat? She ate 7 Mars bars. Drank 16 bottles of Lead, Fanta, Coke. Drank 16 bottles of Coke. Sabrina, my girlfriend, she reckons, as I'm writing this, I'm thinking to myself, she reckons is the way the character might speak. She reckons, let's go down to the airport and meet Boy George. It's important to get the characters talking as though they are real and that it's a conversational way of speaking, so that when I'm performing this character on stage, it's going to seem like conversation, not something that you've written down very formally, but just something that flows off the tip of your tongue. That's what it's got to appear to the audience to be like. Went to the Boy George concert. I got there early, 48, 10 crunchies, pizzas were past the student. The concert was amazing. I wet my pants at one stage. I think I'll put that up there, so it now reads, I went to the Boy George concert and it was unreal. The concert was amazing. I wet my pants, and at one stage, I could almost see the stage. Yeah, that's better up there, definitely. Anyway, Colin's my friend. She reckons that when she was
I introduce everybody onto stage and all this, because I'm sort of like a Mike Willis sort of thing.
What's your name going to be? Character name?
On Friday we discussed Sam the Man.
Sam the Man. And you're going to keep the energy up
Yeah.
really, really high. That's really important, so that as soon as one act's finished,
Yeah.
get everyone clapping and for the next person. Okay.
Me and Sarah, we're going to do an ad, and it's about palm-olive gold, and Sarah tells a little joke at the end of it.
Great. Natalie, tell me about what you're going to do.
I'm going to be Mr. Lovo, and I'm going to be a real Lovo sort of person. I'm going to be a man, and I'm going to be a posh, dignified person.
And are you going to wear that as a costume?
Yeah.
Yes, it looks right for a breakdance. Well, I've had a few days to think about what I've written. I've gone over it in my mind, and I'm pretty sure now I've got it to the point where I'm ready to type it into the computer as my final draft, which is in there now for safekeeping. I'm not sure how it's going to go. I mean, I think it's pretty good. I think it's funny. But just how the audience will respond, I can't be 100% sure. Still, I've had a bit of experience now, and I've got a few tricks up my sleeve in case I run into any problems. So I'll be in pretty good shape to hand them out if I need to on the day.
Thank you, Liz. How old are you? Five. How do you react to rock and roll music?
I can't stand rock and roll music. I love opera singing. So when Countdown comes on, I just turn down the TV and turn on my opera and pretend that they're acting to opera.
Where do you actually come from?
England. No, I don't. I come from Bibble.
Thank you, Dolly T.
We'll be back right after this break. Hi, neighbour.
Hi, Bud. I've had a terrible week. And just look at my hair.
Ah, geez, they're scummy. Stick 'em in here. That'll fix 'em up.
Handicapped men.
Yeah, that's why I had to change it. Hi. What's your name? You look like you're going to be sick. Did anyone here go to the Boy George concert? Did you? I didn't see you there. Wasn't it amazing? Oh, I just couldn't control myself. My girlfriend Samantha, she wet her pants. She did. Right, I could nearly see the stage. I just went off my brain. Oh, and like we got there early, about 48 hours early, and 16 packets of CCs, 10 packets of Crunchies, 15 cans of Fanta, 7 Mars bars, 8 packets of Ice Bovos, 10 Crunchies, and 2 defrosted Papa Giuseppe pizzas later. He arrived. Ah! Oh, except I missed him. I was in the ladies chucking up.